Happy Monday. I have been busy. This has been wonderful. I've had a very good weekend of completing stuff and getting progress on stuff. I'm very happy with where I am in my progress on everything. You'll see over here is porch door. I have the top finished and I have it sandwiched ready for quilting. So there was a unique thing here. There's a blue strip. Where is it? On the outside here. The blue strip on the outside by the brown border. That was actually a 2-inch strip, and they had you fold it in half, and so both seams in there, and so it ended up being, because you're sewing one side and the other, not like a flange, just like a strip, but so a 2-inch strip ended up being a 1/2 inch wide. And the reason why she had you doing that, the designer, was to prevent stretching, which it did for a very, if you wanted to have a 1/2 inch, it probably would have stretched. So that worked out very well, but that was unique. That the blue next to the brown here. But anyway, yeah, so there's porch door pieced, and now I'm going to do the quilting. I'm going to work on the quilting on that part of this week. I have 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks till the end of the month to get the quilting and the binding on. So I'll be doing that this week. This weekend, I told you I wanted to do the harvest pouch from the Sewers Club box. I got it done. This was a label that I had that I added to it. And these are the zipper pulls that were on there. And for doing this, I had to sew the zipper tape on without the pulls, and then apply the pulls to the ends there, one on each side. I had troubles putting this binding on the zipper tape. I had it wrong. I had to look at the tutorial. So I watched the tutorial first, then I thought, oh, I can do this now with the written instructions. Wrong. I had to then pull up the tutorial again, the video tutorial, and go step by step along with her to get this so it was right. But I'm very happy with this. So it opens up like so, all the way down. So you have this, and then it has a round bottom that was a separate piece, and then this is binding. It's all bound. All the seams are enclosed on the inside. I sewed the one side with the machine and then hand sewed the binding down. On here, it was machine sewed here, and then I hand sewed the binding down along the edge there. And then you quilt this material, these 2 layers of material together. Did that on my Bernina. And there we go. I also had some leftover, because you're cutting out a shape. You're quilting a big rectangle, and then you cut out the shapes. So I had some pieces left, so I'm going to make some coasters out of my leftover pieces. I just have to do the hand stitching on the back. But that'll be cute, so I'll have that. Give that as a little gift. And then I have the harvest pouch completed. I'm very, very happy with how this turned out. Not my colors, but I'm going to be using this bag. I'm going to be traveling. There's the bottom. I'm going to be traveling, and I'm going to be putting maybe some stuff in that goes in my suitcase that gets kind of scattered around like underwear or socks. This will hold them very nicely. I think, anyway, that's what it's going to be used for. And then another thing that I made was the Open Gate quilt card. They had a card that you made with fabric. They gave you an envelope, the Open Gate March box. And then they had these fabrics to make into a card. So I got that done. And it's blank. And then I have a stamp that I put on my cards that I make with my name on it. So I got my card done. Yay! Isn't those colors beautiful? Wow. And then they had fat quarters and stuff in with the open gate box to make. They had all the fabric for the carrot patch, which is going to be this one. And I have that cut out. I have it cut out and ready to sew. So I just did that today. And then you were supposed to use this fat quarter for this fat quarter table runner. However, I decided that I wanted it a little bit more vibrant, springtimey. So the other fat quarter that was in the box was this one. So I decided to use that, and this is supposed to be the binding for the carrot patch, but I decided to use that for the center, and I'm going to use orange for the binding for the carrot patch. I already have some orange, so I'm going to do that for the carrot patch. But I also, this here was supposed to be used for this flange here. I decided to find some, I had some scraps, of course, and I used a strip from my 2.5-inch scraps and used it for that. So this is completed. I like these colors. I'm a more vibrant color person, so anyway, I like those this better. So this was what it's supposed to look like, which is fine, but I just wanted something that was a little bit more colorful. So there it was. That's made. So I still have this beautiful, I want this in something special. This beautiful fabric. I love this. So that's what I got done. So this week I'm going to be working on, I want to get the top done and sandwiched for this table runner, which is 15 by 42. And for some reason, this thing is supposed to be 12 inches wide, but for me, it only got to be 9 inches. I don't know what I did wrong, but I'm not going to worry about it. It's done. So I'm going to be working on that. I want to get it sandwiched this week, get the top done and get it sandwiched. I'm also going to be pulling out my box, my project box with the fabrics for the Callie and Company block of the month. Here's the block that I need to make. So I'll be working on that. I will be working on sewing these down. Maybe if NCIS is on tonight. It wasn't on last week. I'll do that while I'm watching NCIS. Yeah. I have this bag of scraps that needs to be cut. This might end up being, I'll probably just, I don't know what I'm going to do with that. But anyway, I have that too. I have this, my last bag of scraps. And then I'll move on to, this is the projects that this is the scraps for the projects that I've been working on. So then I'll get started on these scraps. So that will be my 3 days of scrap cutting for this week. And then I also have my rug. I will be doing 1 day of the rug. This is how far I've gotten with the rug. So scrap cutting, rug, carrot patch, and porch door. That's my plans for this week, and I'm really excited about it. And block of the month. So I will get going on my projects, and I'll give you an update later as to how everything's going. So have a great Monday and rest of the week until I see you again with another update of how things are progressing. And I'm so happy. I'm so happy that I got this done. I'm just enjoying bag making. It's wonderful. All right. I'll see you later and have a great day.